Today we're going to be removing the window rattler. Alrighty guys, so we're going to be removing this window rattler today. I've never done it before, but the father-in-law has, so he's going to be coming over to give us a hand with the job. And I'm pretty gung-ho and I'll end up dropping it on my feet, so he's just coming over too to make sure I don't kill myself. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So the tools we're going to need today is a jimmy bar to get a bit of timber off, some pop rivets, pop rivet gun, something to rip out some nails with. We've got a knife here to cut some silicone, a couple of Phillips head screwdrivers, a crappy flathead to pry some stuff out with a bit of timber, chisel, we've got some drills here, silicone gun and some silicone to seal up all the tin when we're done, and the father-in-law over here to show us how to do it all. Right, so now the father-in-law's had his 17 coffees, we can go ahead and start the job. We're going to take out 2 Phillips head screws on the sides here and unclip this fascia on here, so we'll get that done. Alright, so we've got the screws and the front cover off, and we can feel it's pretty loose. But if we look out here, it's got a couple of screws in the casing here. So I'll whip them out and we should be able to slide the center section of this out. Alright, so we've taken these screws out of the casing here. And we're leaving these ones in because they're part of the actual internal unit there. So the next step we're going to do is, it's pretty free but it's getting caught on something. So we're going to take these timber frames off and see what's holding us up. So it's all free now, so we're ready to pull the center out of the casing. Now it's bloody heavy, so we're just going to set something up to put it down on, possibly even just straight out to the trailer. Don't worry about those number plates. And we'll take it out to the shed. Next step, we'll be taking these screws out of the studs. We'll take this casing out. Then we can start filling in holes. Alrighty, so it's all out. What we're going to do now is drill out these pop rivets with the wrong size drill bit that we've got. We'll take that frame off and we can take this piece of tin out and we can replace it with one that doesn't have a big hole in it. I don't know if you can see you guys, but he's just taken just the head of it off. That's much better than what I normally do. I normally just drill the whole thing out and we're left with a massive hole that we can't put the pop rivet in. Look at that. Now we can get all these screws on the tin. Let's take that old bit of tin off. Now we've got the frame off, we can go along and drill the rest of the pop rivet out so we're not damaging the hole. And we've got a nice clean hole here to put the pop rivet back into. Alright, so we've run into a bit of trouble here. We're going to take this piece of tin off, but we've got one bloody screw behind here. So I don't want to take that off because it's all siliconed and all waterproof and I'll balls that up. So what we're going to try to do is either option 1, get a spanner in there, try and undo it. Option 2, get the cold chisel, snap that off it. And option 3, just cut the new bit of tin around that damn screw. Alrighty. Alright, so now we've got the screw out here, we've got the silicone. What Mark's going to do is go along with his blade and cut the silicone. So then when we're pulling the sheet off, it doesn't rip everything apart. And if you're having trouble with this, if you just put your hat on a 45 degree like this, it helps out a lot. Alrighty, so now we've got that exposed, we can go get our new piece of tin from the shed and fit it in. You pushing?
Yeah.
Jeez, that took forever.
This drill's buggered. That's what it is. It's buggered.
See, nothing wrong with the drill bit, we just got to put a bit of pressure on it.
Yeah, right.
That's still good.
Yeah, right.
We seem to have run out of screws, but I just looked in my pocket and they're all in there. So we've got our piece of tin on that I ordered from the steel shop, cut the size, got it all screwed on. Now Sepp's going to go along with his silicone because I'll make a mess of it. He's just going to fill in this gap here so that we don't get water inside. He's made a mess of it. He's doing it with his finger now. He's too busy rushing to get to beer time and not concentrating on the job. He's made a mess of that. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put all the pop rivets in and secure this frame. What we've got here, guys, is a couple of holes in the tin just from old work. Instead of putting the silicone in there, because it'll go all funny colour over time and that, we'll put some pop rivets in there. Nice and watertight, and that looks pretty neat too. Stands out like dog's balls.
Oh, you'll paint that.
Probably won't.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do, Ash.
Hit it through. Good whack.
Don't film that big, but I've done that because I've bent it. Right, you're going to have to drill that, Ash.
Right, so the next job, we're going to fill in this hole. So we've got plaster, chipboard, and a bit of timber here. So what we're going to do is trim back this plaster here, and we can put our new piece here. Sepp reckons to put a bit of timber here and there and that way, 14 pieces so it doesn't flex. I reckon just bang a piece of plaster there, but let's over-engineer it, spend 3 more hours on the job, and it'll be as strong as. So let us know in the comments, would you just put your piece of plaster there? It's only 600 wide, it's not 600 metres. Let me know in the comments, is Sepp right or is Ash right? So Sepp's gone around and he's cut all here, exposed the chipboard. Called him last night, I give him the measurements. He goes, Ash, give me the measurements of this hole, I'll bring a piece of plaster. So I give him the measurements, and here we go. Just keep in mind, I said to him, don't cut the hole too big, and it's too big, as you can see here. But to his defense, this bloody piece of timber he's got me to put in the middle, it's actually going to be pretty handy because we can do 2 bits of plaster going down there and anchor it into his bit of timber that he insisted to put in there. So lucky save. So I've screwed on our 2 bits of plaster. What we'll do now is put in some filler and let that dry. All right, we're going to do some filler work now. I've got this Uni Pro Smooth Coat, and I've picked this one because it was probably the cheapest at the time. So let's whack it on and wait for it to dry. So I've done my first coat on here. Jesus Christ, that stuff was running. It's out in the shed and it's 40 degrees here today, so it didn't feel as good as I thought. So what we'll do is we'll let that dry, give it a quick sand, and then we'll do another coat on it and she should be all done. Alrighty guys, so she's all sanded, painted. We've got rid of that PowerPoint too. Job done, on to the next one.